Hello children, let's begin our mathematics class. Before we start our class, I hope you are doing all your homeworks, you are doing all your assignments properly. Just follow the same, do your homeworks regularly, keep your assignments ready. You have to keep your assignments ready like according to subject wise. So subject-wise assignments will be kept separately. So you have to maintain a separate file for different subjects. So follow it, and once the date is being announced for submission, you have to submit your assignments. About homework, you know, it's the same everyday pattern that you have to follow. Every day you will get the homework. You have to submit the day itself. Okay. So we have just completed our exercise 1.3. Children, we have completed till exercise 1.3, and exercise 1.4 we started some of the sums which was based on Cramer's rule. So we solved the system of linear equations by Cramer's rule, and today we are just going to deal with the Cramer's rule, but it is the equations are not given directly. The word problem, it is a type of word problem. So we are going to find out the statement from the word problem, and then later on we are going to apply the Cramer's rule and we are going to find out the unknown values. So let's come back to our class. Take on your classwork. Write down today's date. Take down question number 2. We have first question number 1. The first question, we completed the first subpart and the second subpart, yes. The third subpart was also done, and I have told you to do the fourth subpart as homework. So fourth one, so question number 1 was done. So now we are going to start with question number 2. So take down the question. Everyone has to take down the question. No one is going to write the answers directly. Take down the question. In a competitive examination, 1 mark is awarded for every correct answer. In a competitive examination, 1 mark is awarded for every correct answer, while 1/4 mark is deducted for every wrong answer. Okay, so if the answer is correct, 1 mark will be awarded. So what will be given? 1 mark will be given to that particular answer, while 1/4 mark is deducted for every wrong answer. So there is a negative marking. So when you go for a competitive exam, so 2 type of corrections will be there. One is they will be just going on giving the answer correct, that is what the marks for the correct answers. In some cases what happens, they give the mark for the correct answers and they also go on reducing the marks for the wrong answers. So if you write wrong answers, they will not put there 0, they will just put there some -1. So what happens? Everything goes on, there will be negative marking. So that type of system is called negative marking. So here also we have a negative marking system. So what is the mark deducted for a wrong answer? 1/4. Okay, so 1/4 mark is deducted for every wrong answer. Okay. Now a student answered 100 questions. So the number of questions answered, it's 100. And what is the mark he scored? He has got 80 marks. How many questions did he answer correctly? Use Cramer's rule to solve the problem. So what's the mark he has secured? He has secured total 80 marks. So we have to find out what is the number of questions he has answered correctly. We are just not going to write directly as 80 because here we have a negative marking, yes. So we have to, if he is being awarded 1 mark for the correct answer, suppose if 1 or 2 or 3, whatever number of answers he had answered wrongly, he will be losing 1/4 marks. So we have to follow the Cramer's rule to solve the problem. So I hope you have taken down the question. So they have mentioned there, use Cramer's rule to solve the problem. So we are going to use the Cramer's rule to get the value, to get the What we are going to find out? We are going to find out the number of questions he had answered correctly. Okay, let's go for the solution part. That is the first statement. Let X represent the number of questions with correct answer. What is this? Let number of correctly answered question is equal to X. So we don't know what are the number of questions he is going to answer correctly. So we don't know. So just we are taking it as X. So let number of correctly answered question is equal to X. And also he is going to answer some question because he has scored only 80 marks. So from this we come to know that he has not answered every question correctly. So there may be something wrong. He would have answered some question wrongly. So we are going to take that statement also. So write down here, let number of wrongly answered question. If you have correctly answered question, he is also going to answer some questions wrongly. He would have answered some questions wrongly. So write down the statement, let number of wrongly answered question is equal to 1. So we have given the unknown variable. So we have used X and also we have used Y. So what is X, children? Let a number of correctly answered question is equal to X and number of wrongly answered question is equal to Y. Okay. So now let's read the statement further and let's try to write down the equation. 1 mark is awarded for the correct answer and 1/4 mark is deducted for every wrong answer. Okay. And one more thing is given, a student answered 100 questions. So how many number of questions he had answered? 100. Total is 100. So when we add, see, so by the given data or according to the condition, by the given data, what will be X plus Y, children? Correctly answered question plus wrongly answered question is going to be 100. Anyhow, the total number of questions he is going to answer is 100. So it may be he would have answered X questions correctly and he would have answered Y questions wrongly. So from the data we know that X plus Y is equal to 100. So we take this as number 1. I hope the statement is clear to you. X plus Y is equal to 100 because the total number of questions the student, it's 100. He is going to answer 100 questions. So X plus Y is equal to 100. Now let's read the first statement once again and let's find out the statement. In a competitive examination, 1 mark is awarded. 1 mark is awarded for every correct answer. Now for every correct answer, for correct answer, what is the variable used here? X. And what is the mark awarded for every correct answer? It's 1. So you're going to write down here 1 into X. Okay, just 1 into X. Now, while 1/4 mark is deducted, when it's deducted, we are going to use the negative sign. Deducted. Deducted means something is been reduced. You're going to get something less. So what will be used here? Minus. Okay, that's a wrong answer. For wrong answer, he is going to get, so how many mark will be deducted for wrong answer? 1/4 mark is going to be deducted. So you write here 1/4 into Y is equal to, and after writing the correct answer and after getting the marks reduced for wrong answer, what is the total mark he is scoring? He is scoring a total mark of 80. He secured 80 marks. So this is the equation, but the equation we are going to change it and we are going to write in a proper format. So this is X minus Y/4 is equal to 80. Try to cross multiply. So what do you get here? 4x minus y upon 4 is equal to 80. So 4x minus y is equal to 320. The 4 comes here. So 4 into 80 is equal to 320. 8 4s are 32 and 1 0. So 320. So just mark this equation as number 2. So we have got here two equations, yes, children. And we are dealing with two unknowns. That is, we are dealing with the unknown x and also we are dealing with the unknown y, and also we have got two equations. The first equation is x plus y is equal to 100 and we have 4x minus y is equal to 320. I hope the step is clear to you. Yes, 1 into x is x, 1 y upon 4. 1 into y is y upon 4 is equal to 80. So just cross multiply here. We don't have 4, yes, in the denominator part we don't have 4. So you have to multiply this part with 4. So 4x minus y, the whole upon 4 is equal to 80. Try to take the 4 on the RHS part. So 4x minus y is equal to 320. Now your work is to find out the value for delta. Then you have to find out the value for delta 1 and also you have to find out the value for delta 2. And once you find the value for delta 1 and delta 2 and delta, you can find out the value for x and y. So proceed with the answer. You know how to go for delta 1 and how to go for delta 2. Yes, children? Yes. So start with your delta part. So delta is just write the variables. That's right. You are just going to focus on the variables. You are only going to take the coefficients of x and y. It's only you are going to focus on the LHS part. Yes, so what is the coefficient of x? It's 1. And what is the coefficient of y? It's 1 again, yes? Here, 1, 1. What is the coefficient here? 4 minus 1. I just give you some time, solve and get the answer. Okay, have you tried out the sum, children? Yes. So what's the answer here? 1 into minus 1 minus 1. The main sign is minus. 4 ones are 4. Minus 1 minus 4. Minus 1 minus 4 gives you minus 5. Minus minus plus. What is minus minus? Plus. So 1 plus 4, it's 5. What is the sign of the bigger number? Minus. So the answer is minus 5. Now let's move to delta 1. So delta 1 is equal to what I have told you in that is for delta 1 you have to replace the x coefficients as the RHS part. So what is the numbers on RHS part? 100 and 320. So put your 100, 320. The y part remains the same. So 1 minus 1. Solve. So it's minus 100. 100 into minus 1 minus 100 minus 320. So it's minus 420. Again minus minus plus. So 100 plus 320, it's 420 and sign of the bigger number is minus. So the answer is minus 420. Okay. Now the next part, it's delta 2. See here, two unknowns are there. Yes? So two unknowns means delta we have to find. For every sum, the first thing is to find delta, then delta 1 and delta 2. In case of two variables, okay. In case of 3, delta 1, delta 2 and delta 3. So here we are dealing with two variables, yes, x and y. So you have to use, that is you are going to find delta 1 and delta 2. Okay, let's go write the value for delta 2. So delta 2 is equal to, what we are going to do, we are going to write the x coefficients as it is. That's 1, 4, done. And you are going to interchange the y part. That is, you are going to interchange the y coefficients with the constant numbers. That's the number that is present on the RHS part. What are the numbers on RHS part here, children? 180. So where are you going to write this? In the y part. Write down 180. Okay, so let's solve. 80, 1 into 80, 80 minus 400, yeah. 80 minus 400. So what do you get here? Yeah, 320. 400 minus 80, 320. Plus minus minus. Plus into minus. This is plus. So plus into minus plus. Or it's minus. Plus minus minus. So you have to do minus. So you get here 320. And what is the sign of the bigger number? The sign of the bigger number is minus. So we have got the value for delta. We have got the value for delta 1 and also for delta 2. So now let's find out the value for x and y. Let's start with the value. So x is equal to, what is the formula, children? Yes. Shall I rub this part? Okay. I hope you would have taken, yes, this would have taken all this much. So x is equal to delta upon delta 1 upon delta, and y is equal to delta 2 upon delta. So what is delta 1? It's minus 420 upon minus 5, and this is minus 320 upon minus 5. So just simplify and get the answer. So what do you get here? The minus minus goes off, yes. So 5 ones are 5 8s are 42. So 84 and 5 6 are 30 and 2 left. 5 4s are minus 320 upon 5. Here, see, there is 320 children. Just take it out here properly. So 320 minus 400. Because here, see, here the answer is going to 64. So that's not. If 84 is the correct answer, that means 16 should be the wrong answer. Yes. So just here we have taken the wrong. So 320 minus 400. So you get the answer is minus 80. Plus minus minus. So just have a correction over there. 1 4. So just note down the numbers carefully when you write. That's very very important thing. So if you make mistake, everything goes wrong. See, at least we found here because we were not able to tally the answer. But every cases we don't get such type of tallying work will be not there. Here the tallying work was there, so we were able to get the correct answers. So delta 2 is equal to 1 4, and in place of y you have write 100 and 320. So you get 320 minus 400. So that's minus 80. Okay. So already we have found the value for x. That's correct. Delta 1 upon delta. So you get the answer as 84. Now come to the delta 2 part. Actually the delta 2 part is not needed because the question is only to find out the number of questions with the correct answer. We could have stopped our answers over here, but at least okay, we will just do one extra step and just keep it ready. Suppose the question, instead of asking the number of correct questions, they may ask you the number of questions with wrong answer. So that time you have to give the value for y. So read the question carefully, understand the question carefully. If it's the number of questions with correct answer, it's 84, and number of questions with wrong answer will be the value that we get for y. Okay, let's try to get the value for y. It's minus 80 upon minus 5. Okay? Minus minus gets cancelled. 5 ones are 3, yes. So 16. So this is equal to 16. So I have the final answer here. Therefore, number of correctly answered questions. Number of correctly answered questions is equal to 84. And number of wrongly answered questions is equal to 16. In the question, only this part is being asked, but we are just having one extra step over here. Maybe you have to just write down both the things, no problem. So hence, therefore the number of correctly answered questions is equal to 84 and number of questions answered or that is wrongly is equal to 60. So be careful when you take down the values. Okay, have you taken on the sum, children? Okay. Now let's go to the next sum. Take on sum number 3. Read out the question. Chemist, it's sum number 3, the second word problem, that is question number 3. A chemist has one solution which is 50% acid and another solution which is 25% acid. How much each should be mixed to make 10 liters of a 40% acid solution? Use Kramer's rule to solve the problem. Okay, I'll read the question once again. A chemist, okay, a chemist, a person who deals with a chemical, a person who studies about chemicals. So he has one solution which is 50% acid. That is the concentration of acid is 50%, and another solution which is 25% acid. So already you have studied in your chemistry about the concentrations and all these things. Yes? So solution and all you have studied. So you would have some idea about this particular statement. So he is having two types of solution. One is of the concentration 50% and one solution is of the concentration 25%. So how much each should be mixed? How much each? Both, or we are going to mix both the solution to make 10 liters. So what are you going to get? The chemist need or he wants to make 10 liter of a new concentration, that is 40% concentration. So we are going to use a Kramer's rule to solve the problem. Let's start our sum. Let's start over here. Sum number 3. Just going to the statement here. Let's check the statement. Let x be the amount of 15% acid. Yeah, we have two types of acid, two solutions of acid. Let x be the amount of 50% acid and y be the amount of, what is that? 25% acid. Okay, so 50% acid and 25% acid. So now let's go for the statement. We have to get some equations so that we can use the Kramer's rule and we can find out the value for x and y. So let's try to make the equation from the given question. Let's read the question once again, children. What? See here. How much each should be mixed to make 10 liters? So he has to make a 10 liter of solution. So from where he is going to get this 10 liter? He is going to get 10 liter by mixing the 50% acid and the 25% acid. The first step will be, so by the given data, x plus y is equal to 10. That is when he has to make 10 liters of acid, which he is going to get by adding both the acids. That is, one is of 50% concentration and one of 25% concentration. So x plus y is equal to 10 is the first statement. Now let's come to the second statement. And for the second statement, we have to use the first statement. A chemist has one solution which is 50% acid. 50% acid. So what we have given for 50% acid? X. Yes. So we'll be writing this as, I'll just put this as number 1. So 50% means you have read as 50 upon 100 into x. Yes. Then plus 25 upon 100 into y. So he is going to see that how much each should be mixed. So he is going to mix 50% of acid, that is 50% of x and 25% of y, and what he is going to get? He is going to get 10 liters of what? 10 liters of 40% acid concentration. So this is equal to 10 liters of means multiplication. Is already I have told you, of implies multiplication. So 10 into 40% acid concentration. So 40 upon 100. See here carefully. 50 upon 100 into x plus 25 upon 100 into y is equal to 10 into 40 upon 100. Are you clear with the statement, children? So two types of solutions are there. One is the solution with 50% concentration, and one solution is of 25% concentration. And what is the thing? The chemist is planning to get 10 liters of a 40% concentration, but he is going to mix the 50% acid and the 25%, and he is going to take some concentration or some amount of 50% acid and some amount of 25% acid, and he is going to get, or he is going to make a 10 liter of concentration. So the statement becomes x plus y is equal to 10. Okay, so now just we are giving a detailed part of it. Is that is 50% of acid, that is 50 upon 100 into x plus 25 upon 100 into y is equal to 10 liters of, 10 liters of means 10 into 40 upon 100. I just will try to simplify the statement. So 50x upon 100, we have all the denominators common. Yes, children, so I will try to write it together, plus 25y upon 100 is equal to 400. Do not cancel this 400 and 100. We will try to remove the zeros, or we will just try to remove the hundreds. 100 is present on both. Okay, we have cancelled 100 and 100. So now what is left? 50x plus 25y is equal to 400. Still the number looks bigger, and we have a common over there. Yes, 25 can be taken common from all the numbers. So what do you get here? 2x plus y is equal to, okay, let's divide 400 by 25. 5 is 16. So you get 16. So 2x plus y is equal to 16. You just mark this as equation number 2. Okay, now this is equation number 2. So we have got the first equation, that is x plus y is equal to 10, and we have got the second equation, that is 2x plus y is equal to 16. Okay. Let's apply the Cramer's rule and try to get the value for delta 1 and delta 2. So I will just give you some time to solve. You get me the answer for delta 1 and delta 2, children. Apply, not make mistakes. Be careful. So delta is the coefficients of x and y. So 1 here 2 1. Okay, don't take the bigger one because we have already simplified to make it so that the calculation becomes easier. Yes. So take the second equation. So 2 1. Then find delta 1 and find delta 2. Try out the sum and get the answer, children. Try out by yourself. The more you practice, the more you become perfect. So just practice a lot. Do the working. Do not try to do the working by yourself. The Cramer's rule is a very important rule. 2-mark question or 3-mark question may be asked in the examination according to numbers. I already told you. According to the orders. 2 by 2 means 2-mark or 3-mark. If it's a 3 by 3 order, you may have the question for 5 marks. They may ask word problems, all this type of questions for 5 marks. So you have to be clear with the methods. Just do not skip any methods. All the methods are important. And the Kramer's method is the easiest method also. Have you taken down, children? Okay, so let's see what is the answer for delta. It's 1 ones are 1 minus 2. It's equal to minus 1. Delta 1, replace the x part. Yeah, so you're going to replace the x coefficients with the RHS part. What is the RHS part here? 10 and 16. I hope you would have completed this sum. Yes, children, so just check your answer, whether your answers are correct, whether your answers and my answers are matching. Yes, 10, 16, and the y coefficient remains the same, yes. So it's 10 minus 16, 10 ones are 10, minus 16, minus 6. Delta 2, y part as it is. So 1, 2, do not make mistakes when you copy. Sometimes that is the mistake that happens over here. The copying of numbers. So when you interchange the numbers, just be careful to interchange the numbers. So it's 1, 2, and what are you going to write there? The constant numbers. What are the constant numbers? 10 and 16. So it's 16, yes, minus 20. So you get minus 4. So we have found the value for delta, delta 1 and delta 2. What are we going to do next thing? We are going to find out the, what's the question asked? How much each should be mixed? Each should be mixed. We should find the amount of 50% acid, and also we have to find out the amount of 25% acid. So let's find out the value for x and y. X is equal to, get the value for x and y, children. Solve. You know what is the formula for x? Yes. What is the formula? Delta 1 upon delta. Good. And what is the formula for y? Yes. Delta 2 upon delta. Good. Apply it, solve it, and give me the answer. Yeah, all are working, yes. Good. Okay, let's see here. So what means the value for x? Delta 1 upon delta minus 6 upon minus 1. Simple calculation. Minus minus goes off 6. Delta 2 upon delta. Delta 2 minus 4 upon minus 1. Minus minus goes off. Answer is 4. So just I hope you have found the answer, yes, children? Yes, it's 6 and 4. So let's write the final statement. What's the, how much each should be mixed? How much each should be mixed? So just, I'll grab this part over here and I'll complete the answer. So therefore, how much each should be mixed? So 6 liters of 50% acid and 4 liters of 25% acid. What will be the statement? Should be mixed to make. Should be mixed to make. See here, we can verify the answer. We have to get 10 liters of 40% solution. Yes. So 6 liters of 50% acid and 4 liters of 25% acid should be mixed to get or to make. Yeah, to make 40% acid solution. Okay. So you can just include your solution. Because we are going to add the solution in. So 6 liters of 50% acid solution and 4 liters of 25%. I have just taken the statement from the question itself, children. So you can follow the statement from your question. Then, okay. So we have solved sum number 2 and sum number 3. Sum number 4 is your homework, children. Check out the homework question. Exercise 1.4, sum number 4 is your homework. Sum number 4. Okay, just take the assignment questions also. So I have to just give you assignment for the week or this week. So take down the assignment questions. Take a note of it. You cannot miss your assignment questions. So do not miss your assignment questions. I'm just going to take a note of assignment questions separately, like today's date, and write out the assignment questions so that once it's been announced, you have to come and you have to submit your assignments. So just be careful with the questions. The homeworks and assignments are totally different. You have to maintain both the things separately. The first is solved example. I am just focusing on solved examples because if you go on solving, so whenever you go for the solved examples, try to do stepwise so that you are clear with your solved examples. Yes, you know that we also focus on the solved examples. You may be there is a question may be asked from the solved example. So every equal importance is given to both the exercise sums and the solved examples. So you have to solve or you have to do the sums from solved examples. That is from 1.22 to 1.26. 1.22 to 1.26. This is the first part. Solved example 1.22 and 1.26. And the next thing is you have to list out all the formulas. List out all formulas up to exercise 1.4. So just we will be completing our exercise 1.4 today. So your assignment will be listing out all the formulas up to exercise 1.4. All the formulas in the sense you have to take it from 1.1 to 1.4. Okay, it's just not for 1.1 up to exercise 1.4. From the first page, okay, so from first page to exercise 1.4. This is your second. Just try to many formulas, many properties, many some theorems. In the theorem, some formulas are there, some properties are mentioned. So many things are there. So you have to have a list of all the formulas because in the solved examples I have given you only 4, 5 sums. Just 2, 2, 3, 2, 4, 2, 5, 2, 6. 5 sums are only there. So very small, easy work, easy assignment. 4, 5 questions there, and then you have to list out all the formulas. And one more thing, you have to make at least 10 definitions. Or write 10 definitions, okay? From again the same thing, write 10 definitions. Again from the first page till exercise 1.4. So this will be your homework. Definition means just try to get some bold letters. What is that? Some notes will be there, some highlighted words will be there. So use that. You can find out the definition. So you know how to write the definition. So for what points we write the definition, you know, yes? So you have to write down around 10 definitions. I just give you some examples for the questions that has to be taken for definition. Suppose you come to page 2. Okay, in page 2, have you taken page 2? Take your page number 2. See, we have there some definitions. We have matrix. What is the matrix of cofactors? Then you have what is the definition for adjoint matrix. Then you have in page 4 we have definition of inverse matrix. Yeah. In page 14 you have definition, what is the definition of cryptography, what do you mean by encryption, what do you mean by decryption, what do you mean by encryption matrix, what do you mean by decryption matrix. You see, you can just get in definition points there because everything is highlighted. So you just take the particular word as a heading and you have to define it. So write 10 definition. If you're able to write more, it's good. You can just have a bunch, or you can have just a pack of the definitions, and it will be useful for you to use it in your one words, or they may ask the questions for 2 marks also. Okay, so the question may be defined, or the question may be explained. So it will be easy to answer the 1 word and the 2 mark. Then in page 19 you have the definition for submatrix, minor of a matrix, rank of a matrix. Have you taken page 19? Yes. Just go on, put a tick. So just go on ticking the terms, so that it will be easy to go with the answer part. So you can, in page 19, you can give the definition for submatrix. You can give the definition for minor of the matrix. You can give the definition for rank of a matrix. Your children should just go on finding. Page 22, elementary matrix. Page 26, Gauss-Jordan. Already we have written for Gauss-Jordan, so no need to write Gauss-Jordan. Don't write Gauss-Jordan. Page 31, you have what is a consistent, what is inconsistent solution. That all you have. So use it. Yeah. So you just get more than 10. Yeah, it goes around, I think 15. Yeah, more than 15 we get definition. So just try to write some definition. Just do not stop in 10. Try to write more than 10. Okay. So what is your assignment? Solve examples from 1.2 to 1.26. And you have to write down all the formulas up to exercise 1. That is from first page to exercise 1.4. Okay. Because we have completed till 1.4. And then you have to find out all the definitions from the first page. Already I have given you some hints. I have just given you some terms that you can define. So you just follow and complete your assignments. Let's come to the last question. Sum number 5. The sum number 5 will be a homework. I'll be just explaining you the sum, and you are going to complete this question number 5 as homework. I'll put here 2. That's for today's homework. You have sum number 4 and sum number 5. You just take it on the question part. I'll just explain you. I'll just we'll find out the equation, and I'll just give you some hints how to solve the sum, and you are going to solve the sum and keep your answers ready, and you're going to send it to me. Have you taken on the question, children? Take on the question. It's in back, okay? In page 36, we have one question in page 36. The continuation of exercise 1.4 in page 36. So take page 36. A family of 3 people went out for dinner in a restaurant. So they have, so 3 people goes for a dinner in a restaurant. The cost of 2 dosai, 3 idli and 2 vadais is rupees 150. So they are just going to or they have dosai, idlis and vadais for the dinner. So the cost of the 2 dosai, 2 idlis and 4 vadais is rupees 200. That's the first condition. And what is the next thing given? The cost of 5 dosai, 4 idlis and 2 vadais is rupees 250. So 3 is being split in 3 conditions. Can you see that? First, the number of people who goes for a dinner is 3. Then first, the cost of 2 dosai, 3 idlis and 2 vadais. It's 150. Then the next condition, cost of 2 dosai, 2 idlis and 4 vadais is rupees 200. And the third condition, 5 dosai, 4 idli and 2 vadais is 250. I hope all are feeling hungry. Yes, children? Yeah. Just come, just concentrate in your sums, and after completing all your lessons, all your classwork, you can have your breakfast or lunch. Yes. The family has rupees 350 in hand. So what is the amount they are having in their hand? It's rupees 350. And what are they doing? They ate 3 dosai, 6 idlis and 6 vadais. Will they be able to manage to pay the bill within the amount they had? So they have ordered 3 dosai, 6 idlis and 6 vadais, and the amount they have in their hand is rupees 350. The question is, will they be able to manage to pay the bill within the amount they had? So you are going to find out the value for x, y and z here. Here 3 things are given, yes children. One is dosai, idli, second one, the third one is vadai. So how will be the statement? Write on the statement. I hope you have taken the question. So write on the statement part first. You are going to complete the sum. I'll start the sum and I'll give you some hints. So you are going to follow some hints and you are going to complete the answer part. Let the cost of, first what is given, children? The first type of recipe is dosa. So let the cost of one dosa be rupees. What is the cost? X. Yes, dosa. Let the cost of one idli be rupees y, and let the cost of one vadai be vada. When they say vadai is plural, so vada be z. X, y, z. Okay, so now we have to write the equation. Let's form the equation, then I'll just tell you what we are going to do here. Okay. So let the cost of one vadai, dosa, idli and vada is given here. What is the condition? First condition. So by the given data, see the first line. The cost of 2 dosai, 3 idlis and 2 vadais. So 2x, 3y, 2z. What is the amount given for this 3? It's rupees 150. So 150. 2x plus 3y plus 2z is equal to 150. Go for the second condition. Cost of 2 dosai, 2 idli and 4 vadais. So 2x, 2y, 4z. This is an interesting sum. Yes, you will never forget this type of question. Yes. So 200. Going for the next. The cost of 5 dosai, 4 idlis and 2 vadais. 5, 4, 2. 5, 4, 2. What is the amount, children? Yes, 250. So this is the equation. So we have got 3 equations here. 1, 2, 3. So what you are going to do here? Already in sum number 1, we have solved the Cramer's rule, which dealt with 3 variables. So you are going to use the same method for finding the 3 unknowns here. That is, you are going to find out the value for x, you are going to find out the value for y, and also you are going to find the value for z. So what you are going to do is use the Cramer's rule, find delta. You know how to do. Then you have to find delta 1, find delta 2, find delta 3. This is the first thing. After finding delta 1, delta 2, delta 3, you have to find x, y, z. What is the formula for x, children? Delta 1 upon delta, y delta 2 upon delta, and z delta 3 upon delta. Now just see here, children. So you get the value for x, y, z, yes? But one more thing is asked. See the last statement. The family had rupees 350 in hand. So what is the amount they are having? Rupees 350. And they ate. So what have they taken for dinner? 3 dosai. That is 3x. And 6 idlis and 6 vadais. So 6y, 6z. So they have taken this for the dinner. And we have to find the value for this. You're getting the point? So first of all, you find out the value for x, y, z using the Cramer's rule. Then we have this equation because they are eating 3. What is that? 3 dosai, 6 idlis and 6 vadas. So you have to substitute the value for x, y and z. So the answer should be below 350. So if you get the answer below 350, okay, below, okay, suppose you have some amount below 350, it means, I'll just put it like this, below 350, it means suppose I'm not saying the answer, suppose the amount turns to be 320 or 330, what happens? Yes, they can be able to pay the bill. If it goes more than 350, they will be not able to pay the bill. But anyhow, if they have gone for the restaurant, so they will be able to pay the bill. If they don't pay the bill, what will happen? Yes, they will be not allowed out of the restaurant. They will be made to sit inside the restaurant. So just they would be able to pay the bill. So you just find out the value and try to check whether they will be able to pay the bill or not. Okay, children, we have completed our exercise 1.4. So I have just given you two sums, yes, 4 and 5. Try out both the sums and submit your homeworks on time. And in the next class, we'll just continue with exercise 1.5.